Welcome to our Homegrown Parent Deep Dives, where we explore the fears, habits, and beliefs that shape how we show up, not just as parents, but as people. We know parenting isn't easy, and sometimes it feels like the struggles outweigh the wins. That's why we're here, to help you uncover the patterns holding you back, embrace a growth mindset, celebrate your progress, and grow into the parent and person you've always wanted to be. If this resonates with you, hit subscribe, check out the links below, and visit homegrowparent.com for more tools and support. Let's take this journey together, one deep dive at a time.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into something pretty interesting today. Two things that seem kind of separate, but actually they're connected.
Yeah, it's dealing with that inner critic, the one we all have, and navigating the world of parenting.
Okay, so we've got two sources for this deep dive. First, there's this conversation with a health expert who talks about struggling with really intense self-criticism, even rage.
Right, and it's amazing how they were able to turn things around with a simple technique.
And then we've got this article on mindful parenting, which has some really interesting strategies for those tough parenting moments.
So what we're looking at today is how managing our inner critic can actually make us better parents.
Let's start with the health expert story. They talked about struggling with this negativity for years and years. It wasn't just like a little bit of self-doubt. It was serious.
Yeah, and those kinds of thought patterns, especially when they've been there for so long, it can really affect, your well-being and your relationships.
Totally. But here's the thing. The technique they used was so simple. Instead of listening to that harsh inner critic, they started talking to themselves like they would talk to a close friend with kindness and support.
It does sound almost too simple, right?
Right.
But how often do we actually offer ourselves the same compassion that we give to other people?
And to make it stick, they recorded these supportive messages and shared them with their therapist. It's like intentionally rewiring their brain with these positive statements.
And that's where this amazing concept of neuroplasticity comes in. Our brains are incredibly adaptable, so even those deeply rooted thought patterns, the ones that we might feel stuck with, they can change. It's like exercising your brain. The more you practice positive self-talk, the stronger those neural pathways become. And it's pretty remarkable this person was able to undo almost 50 years of negativity in just 4 months.
Wow, 4 months. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It makes you think, what does my inner voice sound like right now? Is it like a supportive friend, or is it constantly criticizing? How would changing that inner dialogue affect my life, my relationships, my parenting?
That's a really important question to consider, because if we're constantly hearing negativity from within, it's tough to be our best for our kids.
So true. Okay, let's move on to this mindful parenting article. Raising kids definitely has its challenges. What I found fascinating about this article is it frames those tough moments like tantrums and arguments not as failures, but as opportunities for growth and connection.
Yeah, the main idea is that a lot of times kids act out because they have unmet needs. So instead of immediately resorting to punishment, mindful parenting encourages us to ask, what's my child trying to tell me? What need are they trying to express?
So it's about understanding the root of the behavior instead of just reacting to it.
Exactly, and that's where parenting triggers come into play. Often our children's behavior can trigger something from our own past, unresolved issues or stresses.
The article had this great example of a mom who realized that her daughter's tantrums were similar to her own childhood feelings of not being heard.
It shows how powerful those past experiences can be, especially from our own childhood. They can really influence how we react in the present moment, particularly as parents.
So how do we actually deal with those tough moments in a mindful way? The article used this really cool analogy. They compared a child's brain to a city that's under construction.
Right. It's such a good visual, isn't it? Imagine roads being paved, buildings going up. That's what's happening in a child's brain. They're building the skills to manage big emotions, so we need to be patient and guide them through that process.
So those meltdowns and outbursts, they're not always defiance. It's like their brains are still working on those construction projects.
Exactly. Understanding that can make a huge difference in how we approach those moments. We can have more empathy and less frustration.
The article also had some good strategies like taking a deep breath to calm down before reacting, acknowledging your child's feelings, even when you need to set a boundary, giving them choices to empower them, and spending dedicated time playing together to build connection.
It's all about meeting our children where they are developmentally and providing that support as they continue to build those self-regulation skills.
One thing that stuck with me was the idea of getting down on the child's level and really acknowledging their feelings. It's
Yeah.
like saying, I see you, I hear you, and I'm here with you, even when things are tough.
That kind of validation can be incredibly powerful, especially when a child's feeling overwhelmed. It creates that sense of safety and connection, which is so important.
Before we move on, I wanted to mention that if you're enjoying this deep dive and you're finding these conversations helpful, we'd love for you to subscribe and join our community.
We really appreciate you being here and engaging with these topics.
Okay, let's tie these two ideas together. We've talked about handling our inner critic and approaching parenting more mindfully. But how are they connected, and why should we care?
It gets really interesting here. Think about it. Replacing self-criticism with self-compassion is very similar to responding to a child's challenging behavior with empathy and understanding instead of judgment.
So it's like we're applying those same principles of kindness and mindfulness to both our inner world and how we interact with our kids.
Exactly. When we cultivate those qualities in ourselves, self-awareness, mindfulness, compassion, it naturally spills over into our parenting.
It helps us be more patient, understanding, and responsive to our children's needs. We're less likely to lose our cool or jump to punishment.
It creates a more positive and supportive environment for everyone.
Definitely.
Mhm.
And if you're looking for more support, we've got some amazing resources for you in the show notes. If you're interested in exploring these topics further, we highly recommend checking out our transformative 4-month growth parenting journal. It's full of insights, prompts, and exercises to help you navigate parenting with more mindfulness and intention.
And for even more guidance and support, be sure to sign up for our parenting newsletter. We share a lot of valuable tips, strategies, and real-life stories to help you on your parenting journey.
We really believe that every parent deserves access to tools and resources that empower them to build a more fulfilling and connected family life. So head over to the show notes and check out those links. Now let's get back to our discussion.
It's really powerful, isn't it? Bringing more mindfulness and compassion to how we think and how we interact with our kids. It's like this journey of self-discovery and growth that can benefit everyone in the family.
Yeah, it's almost like we need to learn how to parent ourselves first so that we can parent our kids from a place of understanding.
I love that. It's true, though, right? We're all works in progress as individuals and as parents. And it's okay to not have all the answers, to make mistakes and learn as we go.
It's interesting because we live in a world that's so obsessed with perfection, always achieving, always doing.
Hmm.
It's easy to get caught up in that and forget about taking care of ourselves, being compassionate, and just being present in the moment.
Oh, absolutely. And that pressure to be perfect can definitely spill over into our parenting. It's like we think we need to have these perfectly behaved children, the perfectly organized home, this perfectly balanced life. But trying to achieve that kind of perfection can actually create more stress and disconnect within families.
Yeah, it's like setting ourselves up for failure right from the start.
Exactly. And that's why shifting to a more mindful approach is so important. It's about letting go of that need for a perfect outcome and just being present with our children, imperfections and all.
So instead of getting caught up in what should be happening, we're just accepting what is happening right now.
Precisely. That's mindfulness in a nutshell. Paying attention to the present moment without judgment, both to our own experience and our interactions with our kids.
It's like hitting pause on all the mental chatter and just tuning into what's happening right here, right now.
Exactly. When we're mindful, we're more likely to notice our own triggers and reactions. And that awareness gives us space to choose a more conscious response, even when things are heated.
So we're not letting our emotions control us. We're actually making a choice about how we respond. That's
Yeah.
pretty powerful, and I bet that sets a good example for our kids, too.
Absolutely. Kids learn so much from watching us. When we model self-awareness and compassion, they're more likely to develop those qualities too. It's about breaking those cycles of negativity and creating a more positive, nurturing environment for everyone.
Okay, so let's bring this back to us as parents. We're trying to juggle all the things and raise good humans. What does this all mean for us?
It means we have the power to change the story both within ourselves and within our families. We can choose to replace self-criticism with self-compassion, judgment, with understanding and reactive behavior, with mindful responses.
So it's not just about changing our kids' behavior. It's about changing our own behavior first.
Exactly. And when we do that, we create a more loving, accepting, fulfilling experience for everyone, ourselves included.
It's like we're creating this ripple effect of positivity. But let's be honest, it's not always easy to stay mindful and compassionate, especially when we're stressed out or exhausted.
Of course not. It's a journey, not a destination, right? There will be days when we totally nail it and days when we fall short. The important thing is to keep practicing, keep learning, and keep offering ourselves that same grace and compassion that we give to our children.
So it's about progress, not perfection. That's good to hear.
Because ultimately, that's what mindful parenting is all about. Showing up as our best selves even when it's challenging and creating a space where our children feel seen, heard, and loved unconditionally.
And those moments of connection, those shared moments of joy and laughter, those are the memories that truly matter.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with a question to ponder.
Okay, I'm ready. Hit me with it.
How might bringing more mindfulness and compassion to both your inner world and your interactions with your children lead to a more positive and fulfilling experience for everyone?
That's a good one. A lot to think about there.
It's an invitation to explore that connection between our inner and outer worlds and to consider how our own growth can positively impact our relationships with our kids.
And don't forget, we have some great resources to support you on this journey. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to our transformative 4-month growth parenting journal and our inspiring parenting newsletter.
Those resources are full of tips, strategies, and real-life stories to help you navigate the joys and challenges of parenting with more mindfulness and intention.
We truly believe that every parent deserves access to tools and resources that can empower them to create a more fulfilling and connected family life. It's pretty amazing how these simple ideas like mindfulness, compassion, and self-awareness can have such a big impact on our lives and how we connect with our kids.
Yeah, it's not about reaching this perfect state of parenting, all zen and everything. It's more about being genuine, being intentional, even when things are chaotic.
I keep thinking about that health expert we talked about, the one who overcame all that negativity in just a few months. It's like proof that change is possible, even when those negative patterns feel like they're just part of us.
Right, it really highlights how adaptable our brains are, how much we can grow and heal at any age.
And it makes me think that these tools we've been talking about, replacing self-criticism with self-compassion, approaching challenging behavior with empathy, bringing mindfulness into our lives, they can really make a difference.
We're all learning and growing all the time, right? And every day gives us another chance to practice these things and build a more positive and fulfilling life.
So as you go about your day, I challenge you to keep these ideas in mind. Notice when your inner critic starts getting loud, and see if you can shift that voice to one of kindness and understanding.
And when you're faced with a tough parenting moment, remember to take a deep breath and approach your child with curiosity and empathy instead of judgment.
Because those moments of connection and compassion, those are the moments that create lasting change in ourselves and in our families.
We hope this deep dive has given you some inspiration, some tools to navigate your own inner world and the amazing adventure of raising kids.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been great having you here.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep growing.
To show our appreciation for you as our listener, we've linked to some free resources to support you on your journey. Check out the links below and subscribe for more deep dives where we'll go deep on the issues that matter most to you. If you have a specific topic you'd like covered, leave a comment below and we'll do our best to help out. So until next time, stay calm, appreciate the moment, and look deep inside where you'll see yourself and your child.